welcome to another Manna Haven. My name is Melinda Archer and I am passionate about showing people how to eat delicious plant-based foods that isn't hard to make and isn't expensive. What we are doing tonight is we're actually going to be doing 5 bowls. So filling these bowls, and I'm going to have them along the front. At the end we'll be able to see them all together. But what we're doing tonight is 5 fantastic bowl meals. So we've got a breakfast bowl, we've got a salad bowl, we've got a curry bowl, a pasta bowl and a dessert bowl. And we're going to do all of that in real time in about 55 minutes to an hour, hopefully. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to head over here and work on our breakfast bowl. So this recipe was developed by our son. His name is Jaeth and he loves Indian food, and every time we go to Indian restaurants he always orders mango lassis, and I do too, because if some of the food's a little bit spicy it's always good to have a little bit of a drink that cools down the spice. So he has developed this recipe. We all love Bircher in our family, but he calls it his mango lassi Bircher, and it is high in protein, high in fibre and easy to make and really delicious. So that's what I'm going to show you how to make now. It is based on soy, so we've got some organic soy milk here, and we have also got here we've got silken tofu, and I'm going to be talking to you a lot about soy tonight because I'm sure many people here, my friends here tonight and also you out there, have heard that from different sources that soy is dangerous. Okay, so I hear it all the time. People come up to me and say, soy is so dangerous, you're going to get breast cancer when you have soy. The opposite is actually true. When you read the research, I'm talking about the meta-analysis, not the Instagram research. I'm not talking about Facebook research. I'm talking about the actual research done by real researchers over real periods of time on real people in real laboratories. It's very, very beneficial. So, and when you think about it, women in Asia who've been enjoying soy for like the last probably 1,000 years have lower rates of breast cancer. And some people say, oh, that's genetic. It's just genetic. But when those same women come to America or Australia from Taiwan, from China, from Japan, and as they start to eat, so I'm putting in a cup of soy milk now, organic soy milk, as they start to eat the westernized diet, within a couple of generations they go from having 50% less breast cancer to about the same breast cancer as the average American or Australian, making a funny noise here, woman would have, which is really interesting, I think, because traditionally they actually enjoy a lot of soy. They also have less problems with menopause. A lot of women in Japan don't even have a word for hot flushes. Imagine that. Imagine that.
What's the nation of men?
No. Anyway, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about soy as we go along, but that's what the base of this is. If you have a soy intolerance, I'm not talking that you're fearful of soy and you've heard all these scary things about soy. Don't be afraid, it's beneficial. But if you're allergic, well, that's a completely different thing. So you could put coconut cream in instead, or you could just base it on almond milk. It's completely up to you. All right, so in there we've got silken tofu, soy milk. We're going to put in 3/4 of a cup of orange juice with pulp, because the more fibre there is, the more beneficial it is to us. And I'm going to put in 4 tablespoons of maple syrup, which I have already measured, 4 tablespoons. So maple syrup is lower GI than refined cane sugar. It's still a sugar, but we're not actually adding very much. 4 tablespoons to this entire recipe is not that much. Okay, now I'm going to put in a cup of chopped mango, and I have to thank Fran for this. Thank you, Fran. I went to my freezer and I was like, I need frozen mango, and Fran had left some frozen mango, so thank you. So I'm going to put in, you can use fresh, but I'm actually just going to use frozen for this because we're using fresh later on. So about a cup of frozen mango in there. A tablespoon of vanilla, and a 1/2 teaspoon of cardamom, because I love cardamom. It's such a beautiful aromatic spice and it's so Indian. So half a teaspoon. If you love it, put more in. But I wasn't sure about people here, how they felt about it, so I didn't put too much in. A fat pinch of salt, and I think that's it. Now we're just going to blend that. So Bircher usually has like a yogurt base or a milk base, so this is kind of our yogurt base that we're creating now. Well, if I can get it started. That should be enough. So now we're going to pour it into this bowl here. Doesn't matter if it's a bit lumpy because we're going to add some more mango lumps anyway. Make sure we get all of this out. And I'm going to hand this over to my beautiful assistant Heidi, who's always hiding in the wings. Thank you, Heidi. There we go. Thanks, lovely. Okay. And I'm going to put in 1 fresh mango chopped, and I'm just going to mix that through. And now I'm going to put in 1.5 cups of oats. Now, if you're gluten intolerant, I can have oats. I don't eat a lot of gluten, but I can have oats. But you could add to this recipe, instead of 1.5 cups of oats, you could have sort of 1/3 to 1/2 cup of chia seeds for gluten-free, which is what I've done for, hopefully there's not more than 4 people here who are gluten intolerant, because I made 4 gluten-free mango lassi Bircher muesli. Okay. So these wonderful little oats, when you look at them, they're just so humble, aren't they? They're like they were a staple in Scotland, but these are magical. Did you know that oats have not just fibre, but they have soluble fibre that actually gets into your bloodstream. And when it's in your bloodstream, it helps to reduce cholesterol and plaque build up in your bloodstream, which is fantastic. Imagine that, just from a little humble oat. And it's much more beneficial to use the whole rolled oats than the quick oats, because using quick oats, they're actually a higher GI because they've already been processed a little bit, and so the glucose will be broken down much quicker and get into your bloodstream much quicker than the whole rolled oats. Okay, so that's all we have to do for that recipe. It's pretty simple, isn't it? And now what I do is I put the lid on, like that. And now I'm just going to pop that in the fridge. So it needs to be in the fridge a couple of hours. It's good to just do it overnight. So if I'm making this for breakfast, if I've got guests the next day, I'll just do it the night before. It takes 5 minutes. And then I put it in the fridge and it's ready for tomorrow's breakfast. If you come over this way, this is one that I prepared earlier. Julian's zooming in on my other favourite soy. This is my other favourite soy. So for those of us who are perimenopausal or menopausal and we need extra calcium, this is an excellent product to get as well. Okay, so here is a bowl that I prepared earlier, and here are our garnishes. So I would do this if I was plating this up for breakfast. So that, and I'd put in a little bit of mint, a little sprig there maybe. I'm going to rinse my fingers. Yeah, sorry, Julian's in the way of some people who are watching. Okay, and one of my other favourite soy products, so Vita Soy, this product here also makes soy yogurt. They used to do a beautiful lemon one, but they don't do it anymore. It's very sad. Anyway, so the reason why I like soy yogurt more than coconut yogurt, if you're plant-based, if you're going for plant-based, is that it's much less, it's much lower in calories. So coconut yogurt is delicious, but it's quite high in calories, and you miss out on the protein levels, and you miss out on all the protective properties of soy that you don't get in coconut. And coconut is actually, although delicious, and I do use coconut in my cooking, if you are prone to high cholesterol, it's one of the only plant-based foods that will increase your cholesterol. So watch out for coconut if you have cholesterol problems. Okay, and just a few little chia seeds just to look pretty. So that is Jaeth's Mango Lassi Bircher breakfast bowl. 1 down, 4 to go. And I'm going to get Heidi to put this over on the table. Actually, let's put some berries on too. It's not in the recipe, but I'm going to put some berries on as well. Because, hey, berries are amazing. They're so low in sugar and they're so high in fibre and they're really low calorie. They're just a beautiful food, and I just put them on everything. Well, everything's sweet. Okay, so we are going to work on, actually, pass that next one, yeah. Thank you. So this is pasta. We're going to do a pasta bowl now. So coming back over this way, I'm going to pass this over to Heidi. And I cooked this pasta earlier. And I've got some buckwheat, gluten-free buckwheat pasta for those of us who are, this is the one that I like to use. It's from Aldi, and this is, yeah, it works really well unless you overcook it, which I kind of did tonight because I wasn't watching. But yeah, of all the gluten-free pastas that I've tried, this one's my favourite. But I found that when I visited Italy, I could eat the pasta and the pizza. There's something that they do different with their processing, with their variety of wheat. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I found that if I buy pasta that says that it is made from Italian wheat in Italy, I can actually have a little bit of it without my tummy being bloated or sore. So you should try that. If you're not like celiac, try a little bit of Italian made pasta. So this is fettuccine. And there's another one that I didn't buy because I was in Coles, but in Woolworths there's one called La Molisana, which actually is even nicer, and they have a whole range. They've got all your spirals and your spaghetti and so many different ones. So yeah, have a go, have a try. So that is what I've cooked over here, but what we're going to do now is we're going to make the sauce, which is kind of like a pesto basically, and it is so high in kale. So much kale. Now you've heard me say it before, kale is a very, very healthy food. It's a green leafy veggie, which actually means, since it's a green leafy veggie, it's one of the most nutritious, high nutrition dense sources of nutrients in the whole food world. Gram for gram, more iron than beef and more calcium than milk. So it's an amazing food, but kale needs friends, because kale doesn't taste that good. So yes, make sure you wash your kale too. But yeah, it's a superfood. It's delicious if you prepare it with some friends, which is what we're going to do. So I'm making a sun-dried tomato and kale fettuccine, and what we're going to do is we've cooked our pastas. Now we're going to just whiz up the sauce. You don't have, on a summer night like tonight, I'm actually not going to heat the sauce through. In winter I would heat the sauce through the pasta. But I'm not going to do that today. I've cooked the pasta and I'm just going to make the sauce like a pesto and put it through it. So we've got our kale in there. We're going to put in some sun-dried tomato halves. Now I have already drained the oil out of this because I don't trust the oil that they put into the sun-dried tomatoes, because it's always vegetable oil and it can be any, bottom of the run oil that we generally wouldn't buy in a bottle ourselves. So I'm going to replace it with olive oil. Look at that beautiful colour there, all those polyphenols. Very protective, very helpful to our hearts. So yeah, I've taken out and rinsed with hot water these so that none of that oil, or very little of that oil, is left, because it doesn't have the same benefits as olive oil. And I'm going to put these in here like this. I'm actually multiplying this by 1.5. So 1.5 bottles of sun-dried tomatoes, and I'm going to put in 3 tubs of tomato paste. These little tubs are 120 grams each. Actually, if I use a spatula, it'll be better. Don't worry, once we start blending, all of this will munch down. The kale will all settle to the bottom. So the recipe is 2 of these, but I'm putting 3 in because I'm multiplying it by 1.5. Because there's a lot of people here tonight and we want to make sure everyone gets a good taste. Tell you what, it's tricky getting tomato paste out of the bottle, looking to the camera. In Italy they say you should never eat tomato of any sort without basil and olive oil, so we will be adding basil later. It's like a sacrilege in Italy. So many good tomato products in Italy, fantastic. And all tomato products are high in lycopene, which for those of you who have a significant male other in your lives that you love, you should make sure they get lots of tomato because it's protective for prostate cancer. So Julian gets lots of tomato. Okay, so we're going to put tomato paste in. Now I'm going to put in my extra virgin olive oil. I always love the colour of really good quality olive oil. It's got that lovely golden green colour. And I'm going to put in heaps of garlic because I love garlic. This is 9 cloves, but yeah, 6 cloves in the recipe, the original. So that's been crushed. And I'm going to put in a tablespoon of reduced salt soy sauce. It's actually got the same flavour, but we're just reducing the sodium just a little bit. And adding half a teaspoon of salt. And last but not least, parsley. Let's see if we can squish all of this in. Oops, I'm losing some parsley down the side here. There we go. Okay. Let's see if we can get the lid on and get it going. Alright, ready? Yes, it would make a really good pizza base. Now what we have to do is grab our 2 pastas. So Julian, don't look in this pot because I overdid it. Sorry.
Get down low and go.
Yes. So we're just going to grab this and put it through. So about 2/3 of this in this pasta like this. just tossing that through. Sometimes I like to add a little bit more olive oil because, hey, olive oil is good for us. Protective for our hearts. The Australian Heart Foundation says that olive oil is protective for your cardiovascular system. So don't be afraid of olive oil. Ladies, we need healthy fats in our bodies. A lot of people say, oh, I'm on a fat-free diet. No. In order for us to have healthy skin, in order for us to have hormone balance, in order for us to feel satisfied, we need to have healthy fats. So whole plant-based fats. So this is a very yummy oil, limited edition, cobram, and I'm just going to put some more of that over there like that. What I do now is I put some Kalamata olives in that have been halved. Why have I halved them? Why, I tell you this every time. What's the reason why I halve the Kalamata olives? To save Julian's teeth. Because Julian always gets the one seed that is in the jar of apparently de-pitted olives. Now, I've got fresh basil leaves. Italians always say never eat tomato without basil and olive oil. But I'm not going to fold those through there because they are going to wilt immediately and go kind of a yucky brown colour. So I will serve this into a bowl and then I'll just sprinkle a few basil leaves on top. Just quickly stir this through for our gluten-free friends. And put a little bit of extra olive oil in too. It looks a little bit more like rice, sorry guys.
Risotto.
That's it, it's more like a risotto. Well done, Julian, saving the day. Okay, so moving over here, I just want to, where did I put those bowls? Where did I put them somewhere? Oh, sorry Heidi.
I thought that's from the wall.
Okay. So, second bowl. Let's see if I can very quickly find the tool I'm looking for. Yes, I can. Second bowl. So this is our pasta bowl. Oh, yum. How good does that look? So good. So there is our pasta bowl. Let me turn it a tiny bit more. And because the olives are always hide, I'm going to put some extra olives on top here like this. I prefer Kalamata olives because Kalamata olives just have a better flavour. I just prefer the flavour. They're just, I don't know, they're whole and saltier, and a lot of the other black olives have actually been turned black with chemicals, so I'm not very excited about that. And I'm just going to sprinkle with a few basil leaves. Okay. And I will leave that one there and then pass these over to Heidi for people to enjoy later. And this one too. Oh, actually, you can just leave them on the table. Oh yeah, thank you. That one can go here, but I need the next one.
Oh, okay, you ready?
Yeah, sorry. So we're going to make our curry next. Thanks. So, our red Thai curry with tofu and with noodles. So using a little fry pan here. My new fry pan, my favourite fry pan, non-stick. So some of the products we're going to be using, I remember I told you about coconut cream. Go easy if you have a cholesterol issue. This is my favourite because when you read the ingredients it says 100% coconut extract. So this is the one that I like to buy. Buy the full fat one, and if you want to reduce the fat you can just pour half of it out into a container, put it in the fridge and add a little bit of rice milk or water. Because they're exactly the same price as the low fat ones, but you just pay for water. So you might as well pay for the, get your value for money, and yeah, just keep some of it for later on. So we're going to be using that. We're going to be using some chicken-like, so it's vegetarian, but it's the flavour is like chicken-like. We're going to be using some of these brown rice vermicelli. So the ingredient list is brown rice, which is pretty impressive, isn't it? One ingredient. So we're going to be using half a packet of the vermicelli, and we're going to be using heaps of greens. So we're going to be using bok choy. Bok choy, gorgeous little vegetable. So bok choy is actually, so there's lots of different ones. You can see them here. It's actually a cruciferous vegetable. And I looked and saw a little flower in the centre of the bok choy today and realised, hey, it looks quite a lot like broccoli or cauliflower. And cruciferous is the little cross in the top of the flower. That's why it's called a cruciferous vegetable. And cruciferous vegetables have been linked from many studies worldwide to reduce your risk of cancer. So try to eat as much as you can. So in salads, in pastas, in curries, just look for ways to eat bok choy and pat choy. It's a phone call coming through, which we don't need to answer right now. Cauliflower, broccoli, also great cruciferous vegetables. Okay, so we've got our fry pan going. We're going to add to our fry pan some extra virgin olive oil. And I'm going to use half a jar of red Thai curry paste. Now, read the ingredients label because not all of them are plant-based. Often they have like fish sauce or shrimp, or this one is fine. So I'm going to use half a... Now, if you don't like spice, I apologise ahead of time, guys, sorry. Use less. But this is a really yummy, full-bodied curry. Yes, and it's really good with lots of that. Now I'm going to put in garlic. So I've got 3 cloves of crushed garlic. And I'm going to put in shallots. So I've separated them out. These ones I'm going to use later and use them for garnish as well. But the white ends are what I'm putting in now, in with the curry paste and the olive oil. I'm going to put in 6 tablespoons of ground coriander. So this is a teaspoon. So half, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3. And that's ground coriander. Oh, I can smell it coming good. The smell is wonderful. Making curry always reminds me of living in Nepal. Because in Nepal, every evening I would have one of my friends down in the kitchen or up in the kitchen, depending on where they were cooking, making us delicious dinner. And it used to smell amazing. Okay, so I'm just going to put that there like that. I'm going to add a tiny little bit of water, just a little bit. Fresh lime leaves. Thank you, Terry. My neighbour across the road grows a key lime tree just for me so that I can put these little lime leaves into the curry as well. You have to remember to take them out. You don't eat them. They're just there for the aromatic flavours. And they do make a difference. They make a great difference. Okay, so now I'm going to put in a cup of this. Put another couple of cups in a little bit later. Just let that sit for a little bit. Oh, there's a little more. Don't come and sit in the curry. So let that bubble away for a little bit. I'm going to turn it up. Okay. Just let those lime leaves steep for a little bit and start to let their oils out. It smells good. Right, so what I'm going to put in next is I'm going to add the coconut cream and the tofu. So this is just firm tofu that I've cut into slices, and I just tear it like this. So it's just torn into, so it'll actually absorb the flavour of the sauce quite quickly when it's in these thinner pieces and it's sort of torn like that. Now, many of you might be saying, but hey, what about tofu and about soy? Well, what's the reason why people don't like soy, why they're afraid of soy? It turns out there was a study that was done on mice. Now these are laboratory mice that are specially bred to not have an immune system. And when they fed them the main phytonutrient that is in soy, and that phytonutrient's name escapes me right now, but when they fed that in a pure form to the mice, to these specially bred laboratory mice, it actually stimulated tumour growth in the mammary glands of these mice. And so they extrapolated and they said, therefore, soy is dangerous for all breasts everywhere in every kind of species. But it turns out that humans and mice actually metabolize soy very differently, really differently. And in order for a human to have any kind of an adverse reaction or an adverse effect, or be in danger of any kind of slight tumour growth in any mammary glands, we would have to eat about 53 cups or more of soy a day, which I don't think anyone ever does. Even the real hardcore soy lovers over in Japan would never eat anything like that. So that's kind of where the basis of a lot of the fear comes from. And really, honestly, I think there's also a lot of, not big pharma, but big dairy involved, because soy has made inroads into dairy profits, because, you know, people really enjoy soy and other non-dairy milk alternatives. So yeah, and I just love soy. It tastes good. It's got no cholesterol in it. You know, when you think about milk, it's actually designed to grow a baby calf from birth to, I don't know how many hundreds of kilos within 6 months. I'd be more worried about the hormones in that than I'd be worried about the phytonutrients, the phytoestrogens, so that are found in soy. Now, there's a confusion because estrogen and phytoestrogen are two very different things, and they behave very differently in the human body. So in soy, phytoestrogens actually act on, so it's called, there's alpha and beta receptors in our body. And I'm getting a little bit, you know, carried away here, but I was reading about this the other day. It was very interesting. So in women's breasts and men's breasts too, I mean, they've got breast tissue as well, there are alpha and beta receptors, and soy actually binds to the beta receptors, which actually prevents and protects against breast cancer. It's the alpha, and the alpha receptors are the ones that are partially responsible for breast cancer, and when we eat soy, it actually suppresses their activity. So it's actually a protectant. And I wrote this down because I thought, if I don't write this down, I won't actually be able to read it. I'm going to read it to make sure I get it right. So since 2009, there have been 5 cohort studies in several different countries that have tracked more than 11,000 women who have had breast cancer. And the conclusion of those studies since 2009 is that soy food intake after breast cancer diagnosis is directly associated with reduced death rates and reduced rate of cancer reoccurring. So if you've heard any other information than that, it's basically because you haven't come across this data. So yeah, and if you want some more interesting and excellent information on soy, go to nutritionfacts.org, Dr. Michael Greger, who doesn't take any sponsorship whatsoever, so you don't have to worry about who's funding this. And he and his team actually troll journals worldwide to find all the best information on all sorts of things. And also Dr. Mark Messina, he is the world authority on soy, so he's also good to go and have a look at. Don't believe everything you see on Facebook or Instagram, because hey, it's not always true. We've all had that experience. Okay, soy. Back to here. So we've got soy. We've just put our yummy tofu in there. I can see that's already sucking up our sauce. I'm going to put in 2 of these. So 2 of my 100% coconut. So one of those. And another one. And I'm going to put in the last 2 cups. 1, because it's 3 cups altogether. of stock. You can use whatever stock you've got at home, or you could just use water and a bit of stock powder. Okay, I'm just going to stir this through. Mark, you're being very quiet tonight. I'm not hearing a single peep from Mark. I think he must have had a long day. He's very tired. Oh, poor Mark. Well, Mark and Julian went swimming in the bay, Byron Bay, this morning, and it was apparently quite a rough swim, a bit of a northerly. At least there were no blue bottles. So, Mark, maybe that's why you're feeling a bit knocked about, darling. Is that it? Do you think?
We're ready to go tomorrow morning.
Oh, okay.
And Byron's going to join us, I think.
Oh, good on you, Heidi. Heidi's often there. She's such a legend. Okay. So before I put this in, this is the brown vermicelli. I'm actually going to break it in half because when there's a lot of people and you're all trying to get some noodles, it's all kind of just one in big long entrail. We don't need that. Okay. So I'm going to put those in there like that.
I've never seen noodles in curry before.
I know, it's great, and they cook really fast. So I'm just going to leave that there on the stove. I'm going to put a lid on it, but it's a glass lid, Julian, so you'll be able to see later on. We'll leave that there because we need it. Mark, you can make yourself useful, young man, and take that away. Thank you. Oh, hang on.
Yep.
There we go. Alright, so let's put a lid on that. Did I just... No. Okay, there we go. So we're just going to let that bubble away. And later on, after it's cooked, I'm going to turn it off and put the bok choy in. And sprinkle it with a little bit of this. Actually, I think we're meant to put some of this in now. Let me put some in now and we can use the rest. There we go. Okay, and that's that one done. We're doing very well with our time. Alright, we'll leave those there. Back this way. Now we're ready for the salad. Actually, no. Yeah, we are. We're ready for the salad and we will cook our curry a bit later. Thank you. Alright, so this is a butter bean and basil bowl. So here's our butter beans here. And you can cook your butter beans from scratch, soak them for overnight and then cook them in pressure cooker on the stove. But they still have all of the benefits if you buy them in a can and just rinse them, just rinse the preservatives off. So these are the butter beans that I'm using, but you can, these are from Coles, but you can get them in Aldi. This is the Aldi one. You can see they basically look like they've been made in the same factory and just a different label put on them. So there are butter beans, and like I've said before, I'm a huge fan of beans in every variety, because in every part of the world that has longevity, so in South America, in Sardinia, in Okinawa in Japan, the Seventh-day Adventists in California, in America, they all eat a different sort of bean. They've all got beans as a basis for their diet. So beans are associated with longevity. They're also associated with lower weight, lower blood pressure, better heart health, lower cancer rates. So it's all good news. Get into beans. Have as many as you can. Okay, so we are going to make a butter bean and basil bowl. So it's just like a big salad. We're starting with some corn kernels, and I'm doubling this recipe. So the original recipe was 2 cups of frozen corn kernels, defrosted. Now, if you are wanting to defrost them quickly, you can quickly rinse them with hot water, but don't soak them in hot water because a lot of the flavour will come out and you don't want to lose the flavour. And they're so nice. Oh, just sweet. Oh, sweet corn is yummy. Okay, so what else we have to put in here is we're going to put in some more garlic. Garlic is amazing. I forgot to tell you before, but I did remember just now that garlic is actually the most powerful food for reducing cholesterol. So if you want to reduce your cholesterol naturally, get into garlic, especially the raw stuff. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that gets spread out because I don't want anyone to get big lumps of garlic. And the sweetness of the corn will counterbalance some of that bite in the garlic. So I've got that there like that. And now I'm going to put in a little red onion that I've chopped. Chopped it nice and fine. Great for colour, but yeah, and also the Spanish red onions, they're just not quite as fiery as the normal brown or the white onions. And remember what I always say, if you're going to choose a vegetable and you're choosing between white or a colour, so red onion or white onion, go with the red one or the purple one every time, because higher in phytonutrients and antioxidants, which are great for everything in your body. If you're choosing lettuce between cos and iceberg, go with cos or kale or spinach even. The darker the colour of the vegetable, the better it is for you. Now we're going to put in two tubs of cherry tomatoes. Look at these, they come pre-cooked. They are pre-chopped. No, not really. Okay, so it's mixing those through. Sorry?
Yeah, it smells good.
Yeah, it does. This will make it smell even better. So I'm putting in the zest of a lemon and the juice of a lemon. I'm not going to put all of that in because it's very juicy lemon. And I'm going to put in some balsamic vinegar. Yum. I'm just going to put a bit in and try them. I'm a bit unsure of my doubling. Some salt, a little bit of salt. I know. Lemon makes everything taste good. And lemon rind. Whenever you are going to squeeze a lemon, just take the rind off first. Just have one of these in your drawer. From a kitchen shop, it's actually, it scrapes both ways, so it's sharp on both sides. I love this. My son Ethan bought it for me. It's fantastic. One of my favourite tools. So always take the zest off first, because not just the flavour, because the flavour of zest, lemon zest, orange zest, lime zest, is just spectacular. I'm going to throw that in the bin. But there's just as much vitamin C in the zest and in the rind as there is inside in the juice and the flesh. So yeah, you want that benefit of the vitamin C, which is great for your immune system, among other things. Okay, so put that in there. Balsamic, salt, and some basil leaves. And then I'm going to put the beans in. So some fresh basil. So these are pretty little leaves, so I thought, hey, I won't chop them, because the trick with basil is that when you chop it, I'm going to put that out for garnish, basil actually it oxidises quite quickly where it's been cut, so I'm just going to leave it whole. That leaf there might need a bit of tearing. Okay. And now I'm going to put in our beans. Two tins. Oh, might have needed a bigger bowl. It's such an easy salad. You don't have to bake any vegetables. It's all either in your fridge or in the pantry or in the freezer, ready to go. And it smells so yummy. Can you smell it from over there, Mark? Can you smell it from over there?
Yes.
Poor Mark's tummy. I think Mark might have had maybe an early breakfast and no lunch. Did you, Mark? Too much salt water this morning. Did you swallow a bit of salt water this morning, Mark?
Yes.
Oh, poor Mark. Alright, so we're going to plate that up. Some more beans and corn on top there. Okay, put one of these on top. Oops. And you know what makes this sing really well, which I forgot to put in the recipe, but I'm going to grab now. Here's some balsamic glaze. Yum! So I'll put this on the table. Don't forget, guys, balsamic glaze on top of this salad. So just drizzle over the top like that. Oh, yum! Perfect. Okay, 3 recipes down. No, 4 recipes down, 1 to go. No, that's good.
Take your time, Melinda. It's fantastic.
So, thank you. And these can go over. That's for that one, yes. Okay, we are up to dessert. We have 15 minutes to go. We're doing well. Okay, so come over to the blender again. You'll not need olive oil for this recipe. Let's check. Oh, so good. You smell it. It smells amazing. Can you smell those lime leaves? Thank you, Terry. And thank you, Terry, for the mint and the parsley, which I also picked from your garden. So there we go. You can see the lime leaves have kind of lost their bright green. They've really let some of their beautiful oils into that curry. See how quickly the noodles cook? And that tofu will have taken on a lot of the flavours as well. I'm going to turn that off. What I might do is I might plate that now. Oh, don't forget me. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to fit all of this in, but anyway. Oh, let's just put it in. And put the lid on and hope for the best, hey? So we just want that to all wilt down. A beautiful cruciferous vegetable, cancer protective bok choy. There's a few different ones there. Little baby bok choy with the white, and this is the more adult bok choy with the green. Okay, so now I'm going to put the lid back on, and hopefully that will wilt down while we are working on ice cream. Dessert! Come on, Mark, this must make you a little bit excited that I'm making dessert. Okay, so the base of this dessert is really spotty, slightly soft banana. So when you have bananas like this in your fruit bowl, don't think, oh no, they've gone bad. You should be rejoicing because this is actually an opportunity to freeze them and make fantastic dessert. So the dessert we're making tonight is based on bananas, and it's a Choc-Orange ice cream with easy chocolate sauce. Now, I'm going to show you how to make the chocolate sauce first, because once we start making this, we've got to eat it really quickly. Alright, so poor Julian is being very sweet and trying to take all the plastic off the tops of all of my ingredients, and he's doing very well without looking. Okay, so, but I'm going to make the chocolate sauce first. Now, I've multiplied this by 3, so you don't need very much, it's only a little drizzle. So originally it's like 2 tablespoons plus 1 teaspoon of fresh orange juice, and then in on top of that I put, so this is cocoa powder, and there's a little bit of salt in there as well, so just a pinch of salt and some cocoa powder, and I'm going to put that in there like that, and then I'm going to put some vanilla in. So it's not like choc ice that goes hard when you put it on top, nothing like that. Just shake it. Try not to make too much mess. So that's it there. It's kind of just like a drizzle that goes over the top. You just kind of drizzle a bit over the top of the ice cream. So that is our sauce. We're using lots of orange zest in here, lots of orange juice in here. You can actually put whole orange if you wanted to. It would even bump up the fibre even more. Now what I need to do is I need to go and grab my frozen banana, which I put in my freezer like yesterday, so I'll be right back. Okay, banana. So here they are. I like to cut them up first because I'll actually break the machine if I put the banana in whole. And as it is, I should probably have left them maybe, I don't know, a few minutes. So, 4. It's a few more than 4 actually, because there's a lot of people here. But the original recipe is 4 frozen bananas, 3 tablespoons of unhulled tahini. So tahini is a paste that is based on sesame seeds, And the unhulled tahini is made out of sesame seeds that still have the little black hull on the outside. And when you eat them unhulled, it actually increases the calcium of the tahini by 14 times. So, hey, I'm going to throw that away. So this adds a really nice kind of nutty flavour to the banana. Kind of a peanut buttery kind of a vibe, but even healthier. Okay, there's our tahini.
We're going to have to eat dessert first.
Yes, we probably will have to eat dessert first, you're right. We're putting in the rind of an orange. Lots of vitamin C. We're putting in some chopped dates. So these are very finely chopped, because the machine is going to have enough trouble dealing with the banana, let alone with hard dates. And we're going to put in some cocoa powder. Lots of magnesium there in our cocoa powder. And some vanilla. And some orange juice. So that's fresh orange juice. You can see all the pulp in there. That was the orange that I took the rind off. Okay. Thank you, Mark. I'll let you have that. Might take that back. Now what I'm going to do is grab the orange juice out of the fridge, because there's my orange juice with pulp. Extra fibre. Fibre is protective. Always go, if you have a fibre option, go with the fibre option. Okay, so what we're going to do, because it was extra banana, I really need to put a little bit more liquid in there because I don't want my machine to die. Big noise. Jaffa was always a favourite flavour of mine. Orange and chocolate together, which is what we're having in this ice cream. Let's have a look and see. No, I think we need a little bit more liquid. Thai curry done with brown rice noodles and tofu, which we'll bring over here with the other one. And last but not least, dessert. Perfect. Okay. Now, life is uncertain. We're going to have to eat dessert first because this will not go in the freezer. It's best eaten straight away. If you put it in the freezer, it will go really hard. You'll have to cut it up and put it back in the machine to soften it. So I will show you. Julian, have you been sneaking something behind the camera? I feel like you have. Julian might need a drink of water. Thank you, Heidi. Fortunately, Heidi's everywhere. Okay, let's plate up dessert. All right. Oh, it sounds like Julian's doing better. You can have some ice cream soon, Julian. You'll be fine. Some sauce. And let's add some orange slices, some cacao nibs, and mustn't forget what I made earlier. Toasted almonds in a dry pan, so I didn't add any oil. That's just toasted silver almonds, just like that. So you have to toast them; they come raw. So almonds, love them. I have a handful of almonds every day. So yeah, almonds are also very protective for many diseases as well. So I'm just going to put a few of those over the top, and that is our dessert ready to go. So there you go. 1 hour, 5 bowls. Take your pick. Okay. So yes, I can hear Mark's going, it's time to eat, it's time to eat. But before we eat, Mark, something Stampede. Something I always forget to tell you is that the recipes for all of these will be in a folder on the Manna Haven Café Facebook site in the folder section. Okay, I'll also post them as a post on my own personal Facebook account and also on the Manna Haven Facebook account. But yeah, before we go, I really need to have a little taste of this. Yum! Yum. Orange and chocolate. So good. And no guilt from this ice cream, which is even better. All that fibre protecting me from a high glycemic spike that would happen if I was eating ice cream out of a tub from Coles or Woolies. Okay, so thank you very much for joining us. I just want to invite you to be here with us on the 9th of December is when the next one is. So on the 9th of December I will actually be doing a whole lot of things that you can have during the festive season. So celebration foods, including vegan cheese logs and little mini corn fritters with, not sure what relish I'll put on top yet, but some really yummy tahini balls that are just delicious, chocolate ones of course. Just a whole lot of little recipes that I want to share that are great to share at Christmas time as gifts, or just to take along if you've got like a staff event. People won't even know it's plant-based and that it's good for them. They taste so good. So thank you very much for joining us. I just want to remind you to start the day right with breakfast. A lot of people skip breakfast, but the Nurses' Health Study, which is ongoing over many decades, shows that breakfast is one of the most important habits to set you up for a healthy day, clear mind, but also a healthy life and longevity. So don't skip breakfast, and this is a great way to start the day with a healthy breakfast. One of the other ways, in fact the way that I start all of my days, is just to reach out to God and just say, hey God, I need you in my day with me. And from then on, I just have a peace, regardless of what comes through in the day. I'm grateful for his presence and for his peace. And I'm grateful for all of this food, this beautiful variety of food that he provides for me to cook with. Okay, thanks for joining us, and I will see you December 9. Bye.